Well, my next guest is someone that I have known, we're not going to say for how long, but I've watched him rise up the ranks in the world of motorsports. And for almost the last quarter of a decade, he has been the mastermind behind the emergence of Texas Motor Speedway as one of the top facilities in the nation. We're talking about Eddie Gossage, who, oh, by the way, put the P back in promoter. Eddie, I'm pleased to have you join us. And I want to jump right in and ask you, why are you stepping away now?
Well, 25 seasons and actually 27 and a half years that I've been, since I got that phone call from Bruton one day, it said, let's build a speedway. And here it is. So, it's been 110%. And that's the only way I'm going to do something is all in. So 25 seasons seems like a nice symmetrical bookend on this project. And I'm thought, this was the time. I'm still too young to be retired, but I'm young enough to be able to do things with my wife, to do things with my grandkids that, if I was working, I just couldn't do those things. So I'm looking forward to that, and who knows what opportunity may present itself. And if it does, that's great, and if it doesn't, that's great. I'm really blessed, and just looking forward to what comes after I wrap up the NASCAR All-Star race on June 13th.
Look, you and I both have seen drivers that at the end decide to hang it up. And then something's missing in their life. And they may come back as a car owner or as a commentator. Are promoters built out of the same DNA? Do they end up missing it as soon as they decide and walk away?
I'll let you know. I don't know. But the rumors are true. I am a candidate to take over the two car next year as Keselowski moves over to Roush Racing and becomes a part owner. So Roger and I have been talking about taking over that car and driving it next year. So you may still see me.
At first I thought you were talking about Keselowski, and as we all know, the confirmed but unconfirmed but really confirmed move that's being made there. Not since Tony Stewart and Gene Haas got together has a driver really been offered an equity stake in a team that he's driving. I know the Hamlin situation with 2311. Is this an indication, especially with the Gen 7 car on the horizon, that we may see more and more of this?
Well, I think indicates a number of things. That's one of them, is that hopefully the costs are coming down. But the owners of every sport will always overspend, always. And that's why in some sports you've got salary caps and things like that. But there are always owners that will spend more than that and then pay the penalty because it's set up to, if you overpay, you get penalized really significantly. And there are owners that are willing to do that. The worst enemy of an owner is an owner, team owner, and they're trying to keep up with the Joneses, who are trying to keep up with the Smiths, who are trying to keep up with on, and it just becomes an endless cycle. If there's really a way to keep a lid on it, keep those costs down, it's a great thing. And I think, you'll see drivers becoming team owners in part because they're paid so much money these days. Darrell Waltrip, our dear old friend, owned a car for a little while, but man, he found out how expensive and how tough it is, and he folded it up and sold it actually to somebody else. But it's hard to do. But today, these guys have so much money to work with. You're going to see more of that. And that's probably a good thing for the sport, to have people that are involved in it for a long, long time. I mean, Richard Petty's in his 80s, and he's, Richard's at every race and looking like the king and playing the role of the king, and that's a good thing. So why not have Tony, and why not have Keselowski and Denny Hamlin and whoever else? I think it's a great thing.
We both experienced the exponential growth of, and I'm going to call them mile and a halfs, when everybody thought they wanted to get into the track operational business. And then there was the contraction, and then there was the not split, but NASCAR takes over for the International Speedway Corporation entities, and Bruton and Sonic and SMI come together. But back then, we built, they were cookie cutter. And I use the term track operator because I think the missing part of the equation early on was the fact that no one thought about, as I call it, taking the Chris Economaki approach of promoting the racetrack and the events. Then you and Bruton burst onto the scene with Texas Motor Speedway. And quite honestly, I thought there was a little resentment in the beginning by your fellow promoters because they hadn't embraced yet what you've preached for a long time. It's about entertaining the fans.
Right. Yeah, the fans are all that matters, because if you take care of the fans, then all the other things fall in place naturally. And that's been my approach, and I firmly believe that. If there was resentment from other promoters, I was either too young, naive, or
you were too busy.
Or busy, yeah, or busy, or I didn't care, and it could be that too. But I never felt it. I've used the term track operator as a derisive term. It to me is a shame if you just operate the track. You need to be a promoter, and that takes different styles. It doesn't mean do it my way or whatever. This is the only way I know how to be the promoter. Is you got to have a chair in one hand and a whip in the other, and you got to be, stirring it up and creating controversy and creating news. And yeah, I'm exaggerating a little bit or a lot, So that's what a promoter does. And so I don't know how else to do it, but I'm sure there are other styles. I just couldn't do it another way. But the sport is famous or infamous for its colorful promoters through the years. And that's part of what drew me to the sport of auto racing. But, whether it's Clay Earls or at Martinsville or Humpy Wheeler, or, you can go down a list of people that brought color as a promoter. And if I hear or feel any, what's the word I'm looking for, any pushback, it's from some of the drivers, partly because they feel like, and this isn't why you do it as a promoter, they feel like you're stealing some of their spotlight by being a personality. It ought to be about them and only them. And I have felt that, been everything short of being told that by certain drivers. The thing is that in this market, really, really, really busy sports market, Jerry Jones is here. The Dallas Cowboys, the most valuable franchise, according to Forbes, this year in the world of sports. Mark Cuban is here. He's on every week on Shark Tank, and Mark's doing his thing with the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Stars have won a Stanley Cup since we've been here, the first Southern team to do that. They were in the Stanley Cup Finals last year. The Dallas Mavericks have won the NBA championship in the last 10 years. I mean, that's a lot of stuff going on. And then you've got Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Baylor, Houston, on and on, SMU, TCU, University of North Texas. And then you get to high school football.
Yeah. Friday Night Lights. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. And so all that's going on. And as it turns out, in 2021, Cup drivers are going to be in town 2 days. That's it. 363 days, they're not going to be here. So somebody's got to be doing something to keep it all on the radar. And that's me, because they're not here to do that. Meanwhile, you can't, I don't know what the proper term is, you can't turn around here without running into a Dallas Cowboy. I mean, not just a current one, but I know one down the road here that played in the Ice Bowl against Green Bay in 1967, I think, or 68. And, he's still in the market. He's still doing stuff. So it's tough to compete with the Cowboys when there's a Cowboy pretty much assigned to every fan that buys a ticket.
Unless you can get him behind the wheel of a NASCAR Cup car, which I wouldn't put, believe me, knowing you, I wouldn't put that out of the question.
Oh, we've done that. Yeah.
Yeah. Except unfortunately, you're on a short timer there at Texas. You always took to heart the importance, the paramount importance of tapping into the fans' desires. So I wonder, over the 25 plus years that you've been in this biz, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned from the fans? And what's been the most important thing that they have shared with you that would make their experience better?
Well, first of all you have to do is listen because they'll gladly tell you. I mean, they really want to share with you what they're thinking and what they like and what they don't like. Um, Social media, which is the bane of society in my book. I saw where Chappelle said that Twitter is the public bathroom wall of the 21st century.
I have to be careful.
Yeah. And then I saw where Mike Tyson said that social media made some of you a little bit brave and don't accept the fact that you say something, you might get punched in the face for it. But social media will tell you some things, but that's generally people that are just trying to troll you and you don't pay a lot of attention to it. But fans will tell you. And what they're wanting is the same thing I think we all want when we go to a sporting event. We want ease to get in and off the property. We want to be able to park in a good spot. We want to be able to get in without any big trouble. We want clean restrooms, really important, clean restrooms. We want to have good food and beverage at a reasonable price available to us. And we want a good seat. And by a good seat, I mean, not just your view, but you don't want to sit on a wooden plank. You want something that folds down, it's got arms to it.
You want some creature comforts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's why we went to an extreme and put in Big Hoss, the world's biggest television. It stands 13 stories tall. It's a big hoss. That way you're not going to miss a thing. If you're looking at 1 and 2 and something happens up at 3 and 4, you're going to see it on Big Hoss. If there's a pit stop, whatever, and there's all that action going on, you watch Big Hoss, they're probably going to replay it and show you in slow motion what happened. So it's a great, great tool. And it's just, Big Hoss is just cool to see, period. Because you can't imagine, a TV that's 13 stories tall. I think you're going to call me crazy, Jack. I have a friend who is an astronaut, and he was on the International Space Station and said he could see it from space.
Wow.
How about that?
Holy cow. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Listen, day to day, I personally, and I know most of the fans at Texas Motor Speedway will miss you and miss your input, but I'm going to go out on a limb, and I am going to predict if you're walking away after the All-Star race, by the beginning of July, you will have hung your shingle for Eddie Gossage Consulting. Available at any time. And I hope that you consider doing that because you still have a lot to give to the sport.
Well, again, Roger Penske did call me the other night. We had a long talk, and he said, and he's ever since he bought Indianapolis, he's been after me to come up there, and he says he wants me to show him how to Eddie Gossage up the place.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, that's a tremendous, because that's the cathedral of speed, and that's a tremendous compliment from Roger. But I've told him, you got some really great people, Mark Miles, Doug Bowles, president of the Speedway. They got better brains than I got. So I've declined to do that. And he told me the other day, he said, I'm not taking no this time. You don't have anything else to do. So I said, I'll come up there, but only if Doug and Mark are with us. I don't want to, step on their toes, but I'd love to see the place and what he's done to it, because I understand he's done a lot to it.
It's amazing. Yeah,
that's what I hear.
It's an amazing commitment to, just as you were referring to, enhancing the race fans' experience.
He's the perfect guy, obviously, for that. The only concern I have about Roger owning it is he's 84 years old. I wish he was 44 years old or so, But anyway, so the answer is sure. I'd be crazy not to do what you're talking about. My website, eddiegossage.com, is hot. You can reach me there. And I do public speaking engagements. I've been doing that for years. through the Worldwide Speakers Group out of Washington, D.C. And so I'll do some speaking. And if somebody wants me to help them, whether it's, like Roger's talking about, or go help find a sponsor or whatever, I'm available to do that. But it won't be the commitment like this is, which
Sure. Yeah.
you never stop thinking about, at least I don't, about things to do, ways to improve, et cetera, et cetera. So, but yeah, I'm available. Jack, I'll represent Wind Tunnel. I will,
You got
I'll
a
do
deal.
it. I'll
Okay.
fill in and do it for you when you go on vacation.
I like that idea because I know you have a lot to say. Eddie, best wishes. We will stay in touch. You still, as I say, have a lot to do in the world of motorsports because you think outside the box. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it.